Now making their way to the microphone, it's Daniel Cormier and Ariel Helwani.
Back in your life on this third week of January 2021. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to a brand new edition of DC and Helwani. Of course, that's DC. Daniel Cormier in Abu Dhabi on Fight Island at the world famous W. And of course, I'm Helwani, Ariel Helwani, DC. It's so good to see you. You got the net behind you. You're on Fight Island now. It seems like our friends over at the W have rolled out the red carpet for you.
I mean, you see the net back there? Because they know Coach told me, even though you're on vacation, I need 500 shots a day. So I get up, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, and I get my shots up. And every time, you just flick the wrist. Ariel, you remember when you told me you hit 7 game-winning shots?
That's right.
What you got to do?
8,
7 game-winning shots, and every time
through the window,
follow through the net, stare down, open stuff. Through the what? You look through the what?
Through the window, follow.
You look through the window.
Keep it up just a little bit. Show those nails. Show those nails.
Well, you do that whenever you hit that game winner. Like
That's
one
right.
of those 7, you did this, and you just left it up there, right? You had to leave it up there. 7. I called this dude 7 times, and this dude
8.
said,
It's actually
"Oh man, I'm happy. I'm floating. I just hit a game-winning shot in adult league basketball." I'm like, okay. One time I maybe believe, but 7, no chance. But I'm getting up 500 a day because if there's ever a day that you and I play, no chance you get to 6, 7 points against me if we're going to 11. There's no way.
You're saying this because before the show we were arguing, and I said,
No. There's no way. I beat you 11-7. If we played at 11, I beat you 11-5, 11-6.
I'm
backing you down, son.
I'm just forget about all that. I'm happy about this. What I'm seeing and hearing in front of me, the energy. Of course, before we get into all of that, I would be remiss if I don't. If I don't send a hearty congratulations, of course, to myself. I don't know if you know, but I just hit a million on Instagram.
So that's good.
Amelie. I mean, come on. 1 million on Instagram. Who's the man now? So congratulations.
Oh my goodness.
Congratulations to myself on the Buffalo Bills advancing.
Wow.
You guys didn't hold up your end of the bargain, but this is the difference between you and I, DC. I'm not going to kick you while you're down. Remember, the last time we lost Hail Mary against the Arizona Cardinals, you kicked me while I was down. You were laughing in my face. We have not lost since. But this is what I want to do for you because it's been a tough week for you, and I wish I could give you a virtual hug because not only
you got to stop making these hug references. We've talked about this.
You lost your boy James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets, and Drew Brees is done, and the Saints are done. I wish I could give you. So what I want to do for you right now is extend an invitation from Bills Mafia to you to jump on the bandwagon because we're headed.
You can take your invitation and just I don't care. I can't tell you where to put it, but you can take your invitation and keep it over there because there's no way I would ever root for anyone but the New Orleans Saints. And the Houston Rockets. Look, man, James Harden, love the guy. James Harden is a great guy, unbelievable to me, has always been nothing but a gentleman. And I'm happy that he's happy, but we're going to be okay down in Houston.
That's what someone says when they get dumped. That's what someone says when they get dumped. I'm happy that he's happy. Come on.
I'm happy that James is happy and playing with a team that can compete for a championship. We're in full-on rebuild mode. But, man, hey, we got the great John Wall. Christian Wood's playing great. We got Victor Oladipo. We are a playoff team in the Western Conference with the lineup with the team that we have today. We're a playoff team, so I'm good. But I just want, did you put the video up yet? Did you put it up?
Yes.
Did you put that video up?
My wife did, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Bro, I've never seen anything like that. You also wear socks with sandals. I knew you wore socks with sandals.
House sandals.
You wear socks with sandals. You look terrible. Your dance moves are horrible. You're very stiff. You really need to, loosen up a little bit when you're celebrating that 1 million followers. But listen, Ariel, 1 million followers. Hats off, my man. 7 figures for the boy Helwani. Hey,
call me Ted DiBiase from now on. You know what I'm saying?
To the people down in New Orleans attending Drew Brees, the second line, guys, I'm with you. I was hurt. I'm a wreck, Ariel. I was up all night last night. Could not go to sleep. I have not slept since yesterday. Oh, well, an hour. I slept for an hour before the show because I needed to. but I couldn't sleep. My heart is so broken. Losing in the playoffs at this point has become a bit of a tradition, a sad tradition for us Saints fans. And I wonder what we're going to do going forward without, who I believe to be the greatest quarterback of all time, Drew Brees.
Well, enough about all that. The offer still stands. If you want to jump on, you have till Sunday night. Of course, most important, all jokes aside, happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day to you and everyone out. Mm-hmm. It's a great day, a great time to remember the legacy of the late great Dr. Martin Luther King, and especially during these days, more important perhaps than ever. So just wanted to mention that at the very top of the show. But of course, DC, we are coming off an amazing weekend, and we are heading into what will be an incredible weekend for the UFC and mixed martial arts. Of course, later in the program, we're going to talk at length about Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. But first, we have to talk about what you witnessed cage side on Saturday night. The ABC debut, bit of a slow prelims. Main card was fantastic.
Yeah, the main card was absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic. And the main event was, the masterpiece by Max Holloway, the win over Calvin Kattar, 5 rounds to none. There was a 50-42 in there. Our friend, the judge, Ben Cartledge, telling me 50-43. So that's, a 10-8. I mean, just an absolute beatdown, incredible performance. And you said, DC, and I wonder if you feel this way 2 days later, finest performance you've ever seen inside the octagon?
I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. And I know we've witnessed some great things. And people, you and I talked about this a little bit. Sometimes people will say a quick performance doing something that's unexpected, Conor versus Aldo. I believe Conor versus Alvarez was a better performance for McGregor. I think over time, the way that Max Holloway was able to dominate Calvin Kattar in boxing, in the way that Calvin Kattar has looked boxing, the activity, the sharpness, the flow, the freeness, everything that Max Holloway did should be applauded. And I truly do believe I've never seen anything like it. And I'm starting to build a long list of fights that I've watched next to the octagon. I never felt that buzz inside of me like I did when I left that arena Saturday. I could not come down. I couldn't come down from watching what I had saw. And it was Calvin Kattar's toughness was on full display. But Max Holloway with touch, body shot, punch. I mean, did he kick? Did Max kick? No, swing. Max threw 3 spinning back kicks over the course of the whole fight. This was a boxing fight with 4-ounce gloves, and he landed 400 punches. That's crazy.
Yeah, I believe at one point he called himself the best boxer in the UFC.
In the octagon.
What was that like? When he was talking to you?
It's like, so there's like 2 things, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 things, right? One, you're watching a guy in there that you care about, right? That's my buddy, right? So I've seen my friends lose next to the cage. I've seen them win, but I'm watching a guy that I care about a lot, and he's fighting the absolute perfect fight. Then he addresses us. But not only is he addressing us, he is calling back to interviews, right? He's remembering in those moments that this dude said that in boxing, I'm a freshman. He's the senior. He's like, I'm going to show him. He said that in an interview last week with MMA Junkie. Yep. And then he said it in the fight. He goes, call me a freshman. The freshman came to play tonight. The freshman came to play. Wow. And then he's like, the freshman came to play. And his eyes, his eyes were so intense looking at us. I was like, oh my goodness. Who is this? This isn't Max Holloway. He has left his body now. He's on. The freshman came to play today. Then Calvin's like punching. Max is all whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, it was amazing. Max like doing all this. And then Max goes, I'm the best boxer in the UFC. Boom. Like without even looking at him. Bro, it was like LeBron closing his eyes and shooting a 3-pointer on the Rockets last week. Max turned and went, wow. No look right hand. Kattar just is so tough that he didn't go out. Bro, I've never seen anybody in such a flow. That flow state was insane.
Yeah, okay, so then let me ask you this, because the numbers were nuts. I mean, the significant strikes, the records, all that stuff. But
you know what's crazy? One quick thing about the numbers.
Yeah.
When I looked at the screen after the fight, the unofficial stats said 290 of 6-something. By the time they really tallied it up, they added 150 strikes.
Wow.
Like, how crazy is that? When I left, and I looked at the screen, it said Max Holloway landed 440 punches or something like that. Once they actually tallied up the strikes, it went to 450. How do you add 150 strikes? That means that the CompuBox numbers couldn't keep up.
Not CompuBox. What are you talking about?
Or whatever it is, whatever that shit. What is it called? What is the strike thing?
It's like UFC stats. It was Fight Metric, but now UFC.
Yeah, they
CompuBox
can't.
is boxing. But here's the thing. So to that point, when I was watching it, I was blown away. I mean, that was one of the greatest. I don't know if it's the greatest, but one of the greatest. Hard to say the greatest. It was a masterpiece. But I couldn't help but think of a story that came out last week on MMA Fighting about Spencer Fisher and the state that he's in, his health, his brain. And shouldn't that fight been stopped? Like, should we have never got to those numbers? Because you can make a case in the third and fourth round, either Herb Dean or Calvin Kattar's great corner, New England Cartel, who we talked so much about last week, should have stopped the fight. He was not going to win that fight. Why take all that damage?
You know, it's a very difficult call to make as a corner. And when I think people talk about Herb at times not doing what he needs to do. Herb could have stopped that fight, but we were so upset when they stopped the fight between Ankalaev and Kutalaba started punching. Calvin Kattar always started punching, right? Yeah. So that's what Herb sees. Herb sees the guy that he's telling to working, or at least trying to stay within the fight. So for me, I think that it was more on the corner to stop the fight.
I agree.
Because Calvin Kattar was always aware enough to follow Herb's instructions, so he continued to fight. Now we know that Calvin Kattar and his corner, they know each other forever. They love each other. They know their guy. You don't know what their conversations are in regards to how you stop a fight. You saw what happened with Deontay Wilder, right? He fired the guy, right? Even though we all applauded the guy for doing in a big moment when most people wouldn't, he got fired. So it's like it's a hard thing to do. Fourth round is when I would have stopped the fight. That's the round where the strikes got lost. In the fourth round, Max hit him 140 times. He hit him 140 times in the fourth round. That was the round in which the fight should have been stopped. Now, for all that being said, to lose third round 10-8 at least, fourth round 10-8 at least, for Calvin Kattar to fight at least a decent enough round to lose 10-9 in the fifth, after all that damage, shows you what kind of savage Calvin Kattar is. Is that great for the long-term health? You wouldn't think so. But, man, for a guy to get beat up in that way, you don't very often raise the appreciation level. I think Calvin Kattar somehow raised the appreciation level.
Couldn't agree more. Especially, it's rare to get that kind of love and appreciation after a one-sided fight. I just hope that it doesn't affect him for the rest of his career.
Because he's a sharp kid.
Oh, yeah, and he's been doing this for a while. But that's the kind of damage. I mean, that's the kind of damage that you take that affects you for a long time. By the way, speaking of sparring, that's now 2 fights in a row that Max Holloway tells us he did not spar. I was reminded of the great Allen Iverson, who once said, practice. Yeah. Maybe practice is overrated. What do you think? Like, should guys not spar?
Here's what's happening, right? They're more than just guys they're more than just Max that is in sparring, right? I know I say McGregor because he's fighting this weekend, right? McGregor long time ago said he plays when he spars, right? He's not necessarily always going 100%. And I think that's what Max has to be doing. Max has to be playing. He has to be putting someone in front of him in order to get off all those combinations and simulate what he's going to do in the fight. Granted, he's not getting punched in the face, but he is doing something to be so sharp in there, because you can't just show up without doing anything in that way physically and then look like he did. So he's playing. He's just not hard sparring anymore. He's got to be doing something.
Well, it's
and I'll ask him that. He's coming to play me in Madden soon. So
look at you.
I'll ask him about.
Well, he's trying. Maybe he's coming over to take your spot because he said you're taking everything that he
read a read earlier, and I was like, wow, this dude's good. What is happening? Like, Max Holloway's good.
But I'm here to tell you right now, DC. I don't care. So on Saturday morning, I officially reported that Alexander Volkanovski is going to fight Brian Ortega on March 27th. By the way, the hope is for the heavyweight title to be the main event, Stipe versus Francis. That's not a done deal. It's been reported elsewhere. It's probably going to happen, but as of right this second, we tell you the truth over here. It's not a done deal. But I'm here to tell you, and I'd love to get your take on this. I don't care what happens in that fight. Volkanovski wins again, Ortega wins. Max Holloway should fight for the belt next.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, even if Volkanovski wins, I don't care if it's the third crack. It's a great story because a lot of people thought that he won the second fight. And this is totally different because some people might say, hey, you said famously many, many times, you don't want to see Benavidez DJ3. Well, the difference is Benavidez got knocked out in the second fight. The second fight in this case was so close. I want to see this Max Holloway fight. Alexander Volkanovski is probably the most interesting 145 fight they could put on. So I take back what I said leading into the fight. I want Max to fight for the belt regardless of who wins in March.
Absolutely. Because he showed improvement. That's what you want to see when there's a guy that's trying to earn a rematch, or in this case, a third fight against a champion. Like, what can he do different in order to win the fight? Well, a lot of people thought he won the second fight, so you could just point to that. That guy was enough to compete with the champ. But after what he did on Saturday, it shows that he is, I mean, if Alexander Volkanovski right now is one, he's 1A. And unless Brian Ortega has completely closed the gap, they seem to be head and shoulders above everyone else. Here's the interesting thing. Max Holloway has looked like this against most people. How much credit does Alexander Volkanovski deserve to have 2 victories over Max Holloway?
Great point.
And Alexander Volkanovski does one thing, right? And he doesn't back up. If you start going backwards against Max Holloway, you're done, because then you start absorbing. Volkanovski just doesn't retreat. He constantly tries to stay forward to not allow Max to get into such a free-flowing type of style. When Max was able to flow early in that second fight, he dropped him twice, right? Because Max had him going backwards. In that third round, Volk and his coaches decided we can't give ground anymore. And when they stopped giving ground, that's when the fight became much closer, because Max won the first 2 rounds easy. Third, fourth, and fifth was very competitive because Volkanovski made that adjustment and he stopped backing up. You cannot back up against Max Holloway. You can't. Even when he fought Dustin Poirier at 55, when he got Dustin going back, he started to have success. When Dustin was pushing him back or standing his ground was when he was able to land big shots that were hurting Max.
In addition to all of that, like I said, the main card was great, and it was cool to see on ABC. Obviously, both you, John, Dan, you all did a great job on the broadcast, Brett as well. But here we have a situation where you have Carlos Condit, an OG of the game, final fight of his contract. I'm hearing he's leaning towards re-signing, so that's a bit different than the Pettis situation. Big win over Matt Brown. What about Li Zhangliang with the big knockout over Santiago Ponzinibbio? Alessio Di Chirico with the shocking knockout of Joaquin Buckley, who was on that, that rocket ship, and of course Puna Soriano with the big win as well. Of all those guys, before we move on, any performance in particular really stood out to you?
I think that the 3 knockouts at the beginning were just fantastic. Soriano fought another undefeated fighter and he just stiffened him. I mean, completely outclassed him and showed that they were on a different level. Alessio Di Chirico landing that beautiful head kick. But you know what, man? I think when I think about bouncing back and having a spectacular performance, had to be Lee, right? Because we saw Santiago Ponzinibbio, what he had done before the extended break due to his health, coming back looking to just put himself right back in the title picture. And Li Jingliang had just lost to Neil Magny. So he needed a performance to really remind people that he's still viable and dangerous in this division. You beat a guy like Santiago Ponzinibbio, and the way that he did, it shows you that he's in line for some even bigger fights. Big moment for Lee, big fight for Lee. And Ariel, just the buzz of being on ABC was special, man.
And the fans too, right?
Didn't the fans were. I was about to say that the fans are back in the arena. I mean, from the production crew to all the executives, everyone was very aware that it was on network television, and it was, to me, such a massive difference between the first time we did a network show back in 2010 or 11,
November
2011 to this one. Whereas in 2011. It was probably worst case scenario, right?
Yep.
Hour and a half of build for a 1.5-second fight, to having this fight card where you showed all the fights main card and they all absolutely delivered. It was fantastic. It was a great night, man. And people that never watch Ariel were like, I cannot believe you're on ABC. I had friends write me messages, guys that I haven't heard from home. Daniel, continue to raise the bar. Keep changing the idea of what we can accomplish in Lafayette and showing these kids that anything is possible. That's how much it meant for those guys that I grew up with to see me on network television on ABC. Wow. And we spoke about this before, how big it is and how different it is. But these guys, they're saying this to me as fathers because their children are probably our age when we watched Foreman and Ali and all these guys fight. And so for me, the guy from around the corner being on network TV is showing their children anything is possible. And they're saying, look, this is Daniel. Daniel grew up right down the street. Look at where he is today. You can be anything. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Anik voiced a really great essay about the evolution from Wild World of Sports and Kosel and Ali, of course, till now. It was cool, man, and to see the logo there, the ABC logo, and the fans. You miss the fans. Trust me. Yeah. Like, I know I said it at the beginning. Hey, maybe we don't need fans. No, we need fans.
Stupid. We do. We need the fans, bro. You can feel them right away. Like I was clapping. Like, man, I've left so many fights going, I don't know, man. The fights maybe been better without the fans. It's not. The fans really do make the sport, and I cannot wait until we're back in front of 20,000 people.
Yeah. And
we miss you guys. Actually, we miss you guys and we love you. Like, it's the absolute truth.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me. By the way, I'm only showing up when it's a full arena. That's my rule. So I just feel like it's better. But no, we got the Bonner Griffin effect where the fight went 5 rounds as opposed to the JDS Kane effect of 9 years ago where it lasted 60 seconds. Crazy to think back in 2011, the prelims were on Facebook of all places, and then just the main event. So a lot has changed. Main card delivered, and you're sticking around, of course, not only for the Conor Poirier card on Saturday, but also the Wednesday card, a special Wednesday afternoon card starting at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Of course, that one headlined by Neil Magny versus Michael Chiesa. But before we get to the rest of the week's fun, DC, of course, we have to tell you all about our good friends over at DraftKings. We love DraftKings. And DC, a lot of people have been saying you've been looking at your phone too much during the show. I've been getting a lot of messages. So you better lock in right here because I got a lot to tell you about our good friends over at DK. This is it.
DraftKings.
Yeah, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. One of the sport's most notorious icons is stepping into the octagon this Saturday. This is a great job right here by TST. DraftKings, our podcast presenting sponsor and the official daily fantasy partner of the UFC, is giving new players a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with your first deposit. And oh, by the way, you can also make some picks for this weekend's highly anticipated Green Bay Packers versus New Orleans. He wrote this too. Weird. Anyway, if you haven't tried it yet, Fantasy MMA is easy to play.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
I'm sorry. He wrote it. It's not my fault.
Come on, man.
Just pick 6 fighters, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for advances, takedowns, and more. Just like a Josh Allen first down to Stephon Diggs. This is great stuff, TSD. There's no better way to put your MMA knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Sort of like a shot at the Super Bowl, which our respective teams will be going for this weekend. DraftKings is safe and secure and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Amazing. Download the DraftKings app right now, and please use the promo code Ariel, ARIEL, to get a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes throughout the weekend. That's promo code Ariel only at DraftKings. Minimum $5.
You guys have actually broke me with the promo codes. You've actually broke me to where I don't even care anymore. I've been beaten down so much that I just accept it.
Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. All right, DC. Now, let's talk about the buzz over there. Just a few hours ago, I got footage from our good friend Charlie Moynihan, producer extraordinaire over there on Fight Island, who you're working with. There's Conor McGregor on the yacht. The big to-do. Did you get a glimpse? I was looking for you in the crowd. Did you get a glimpse? Did you fist bump? Nothing? You didn't welcome him with everyone?
You know what's crazy? I have somehow started to feel the Helwani effect. I'm shut out. Like you've been shut out by so many. I'm shut out. I don't know what I did to be shut out. I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting here doing my show, and then I've been shut out. So no.
What does that mean? What does shut out mean?
I don't talk to McGregor. I didn't get a fist bump. I don't get a call or a text message.
You got the stiff arm? You got the stiff arm?
I've been stiff arm. I've been hit with the boom. I'm out.
Here's the question though. Were you ever in?
I was never really in, but like at least I used to get a conversation. I'm out of the conversation now. I can't.
Wow.
I did a show on McGregor back in the day. For Fox, I did a show on McGregor. Now I'm out.
Wow.
There is no.
So could I ask? I mean, how does it feel? How does it feel for once that I'm in?
I gotta be honest, man. It's like a punch to the gut. It's a little punch to the gut.
Does it feel good, right? It
does not feel good. I don't know, why do these guys do this to us? Like, we're just over here sitting, doing our thing, and it feels a bit like a punch to the gut. Somebody's at my door right now, and I don't think they're gonna leave. They never leave.
Why? They just keep coming?
To be delivered, they just keep knocking and blowing.
Let's see. Let's see if they ring the doorbell again. Oh, there they are. Is that dinner?
I don't know what it is. Guys, could you leave it by the door, please?
Oh, this is great stuff. I mean, only the best.
Just leave it by the door, please. Thank you.
Only the best at the W Abu Dhabi. Who, by the way, they keep sending me DMs over there on the W account saying they miss me.
The W Abu Dhabi, they are the best. They want to service you and they want to make you feel welcome, and they won't stop. You know what I did to them last night? So I called them. I go, hey, do you have fried chicken? And they said, no, seriously. They go, well, we don't really have fried chicken. I said, well, the menu says whenever, whatever.
Oh, God.
I said, the menu says whenever, whatever. So you know what they did? Let me talk to the chef. Came back with fried chicken.
Get out of here.
I promise you, bro. The menu says whenever, whatever.
Wow.
You know what? You're right. Yeah, let me check with the chef. Chef goes up and whips up a nice batch of fried chicken for you, boy.
How was it?
It was good. It was thin chicken breast, right? It was thin chicken breast, which was fantastic. And I said, hey, I take it to the next level. I'd like it spicy. So, inside I'd like it spicy. Inside the crust is all pepper flakes. I mean, it was fantastic. They should sell fried chicken here at the W.
I mean,
you said whenever, whatever.
It's next level hospitality. You mentioned spicy. It reminds me, our friend DP, Dustin Poirier, has his own batch of hot sauce now.
It's good.
Have you seen it? Like, what's he like? Because I think
I tasted it.
No, I've tasted it too. He sent me. But I'm curious if you have seen him, if you have talked to him. I saw you watching the game with him last week. But I think one of the narratives was mentally he was broken going into the first fight. As I mentioned to Conor in our interview, like Ally Quinta said, "Oh, Dustin's already lost this fight. He's too happy to be here. He's happy to play a part, the charity and all that stuff." Do you get the sense that Dustin is coming for a win, or is he coming just to take part in this fight?
When I spoke to Dustin last week in Vegas, I could see him trying to manage all of the emotion, right? We got to Vegas, it was like, okay, now it's time. He had to manage all the emotion as to how he would approach everything. And we spoke and we talked, and there were a lot of questions, And so when a fighter starts to ask those questions, you realize they're kind of sifting and working through things in regards to how the approach is going to be. So I left Vegas thinking he's going to have some work to do to get himself mentally right in order to go into this fight. I talked to him today, and he's much different, right? It seems like whatever questions he had to answer himself, he's gotten them in check. He's figured out his approach, and he seems ready to go. I mean, dude seems confident. He seems sure. He's got a fantastic strategy, and he seems like he's ready to go and try to accomplish something that a lot of people in the world don't think. I always talk about the fight, right? And obviously, when Conor McGregor fights, he's a lot of the story. And people talk like, well, you guys are overlooking Dustin. No, we aren't. We are not overlooking Dustin. And after speaking to Dustin today, he is more confident than I've seen in a long time. And it ain't a put on. He is not trying to put on and make people feel like he's ready to go. Dustin Poirier is ready to fight. So when we left Vegas, whatever questions he had to ask for himself in terms of what time should I be sleeping? What time should I be doing this? He had a lot of different things he needed to figure out and get ready. And over the course of that last week, he's got them all answered. And he seems sure that he's going to get his job done.
You mentioned the game plan. What's the game plan? What did he tell you?
Oh, I can't tell you that. Oh, okay. I mean, those things are for me as a commentator to, have when Dustin's in the octagon. I would never betray the trust of a fighter for a guy in the media.
Of course. What do you mean a guy in the media? I'm not just a guy in the media. I'm your co-host, and I would never betray that trust. I was just trying to catch you slipping. If you would have started to tell me, I would have stopped you. That's how honorable I am. But could I ask you, if you're his head coach, what should the game plan be?
You know, if you're Mike Brown and the rest of the coach at American Top Team, one thing is there's big moments, right? There are little battles within fighting a guy like Conor McGregor. So I call back to Khabib, right? And I call back to how big that fight was. Granted, we had never seen anything like it, but Javier Mendez and all the coaches had been there before. There's something to being in those moments before as a coaching staff that will allow for the fighter to stay more patient. The American Top Team coaches have seen everything. They've been in the spotlights. They fought Rousey. They fought Cyborg. They've been in those big moments. They can pass all that big experience on to Dustin. So there won't be panicking in the corner from the coaches. So he will not carry that nervousness. If I'm cornering and coaching Dustin Poirier, I'm telling him, you got to survive the onslaught. Because Conor McGregor is a guy that starts fast, obviously. He's shown at times that he can fatigue. But if Conor McGregor thinks that he can get you out of there and he doesn't have as much respect for you, it's even worse. He starts even faster. I don't think for 1 second he respected Donald Cerrone. I just didn't. So he just ran across the octagon and tried to knock him out. He was off balance. He threw the left hand, was reaching. I think when he says stuff like, I'm going to finish Dustin in 60 seconds, he may not necessarily have as much respect for Poirier. So you have to really be aware at second one of McGregor just really trying to get you out. And so I think he needs to weather the onslaught, take his time, and not get caught up in the extra and get himself caught with something, because there's not many guys that hit as hard as McGregor and are as accurate and are as fast.
Conor told me when I spoke to him last week that he obviously maintains he will win in around 60 seconds, but he welcomes a war. Now, he said a war for me might be something different than what it means for Dustin Poirier. But do you believe him? Like, because I said, like, would you like for it to go long? He's like, yeah, I'd love to get some extra time in. Or, but that goes against everything that he's always done, like in and out, clean, no damage. What do you think? You think he believes that? You think he really actually wants that?
I think when he says that to you, it's a part of him just kind of like reflecting on everything. But I think that he's reflecting on it in a way that if it happens, he has to be okay with it, right? He's seen it. He's visualized it. But in his mind, in his heart of hearts, he really does believe he's going to get him out of there, because he's done it once. And the one time he hit him, it didn't take many. He hit him one time, and he was able to knock Dustin out with all that buildup. So in his mind, he now feels, if I can get one, I'm going to put him out. That's going to make him even more dangerous, especially early. As they're fresh, he's going to be more dangerous, because I just don't know if you can say I'm going to knock a guy out in a minute and ultimately have a lot of respect for him.
I mean, you've been in this spot before where you beat a guy and then had to beat him, a second time. Like the Jones fights were different, but like Anthony Johnson, you beat him convincingly and then had to fight him again. Stipe beat him convincingly, had to fight him again. Is there a pressure on a fighter to do something even greater the second time to prove that you're even better than the guy who beat him the first time? Or is that just something that we talk about?
No, I think that's from people on the outside. For a fighter, you just got to try to win, right? You want to win the fight. You want to prepare yourself to fight. You know what's out ahead of you, right? And you're fighting it the guys are so dangerous. Rumble Johnson was so dangerous. I was always very aware of who Stipe Miocic was. I knew he was dangerous. So you don't try to top the performance. You just try to get the job done again, because there's a reason that guy's back there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason he's back there. He didn't just get back there because you guys have history. Dustin Poirier is back against Conor McGregor because after he lost him, he became the interim champion. He's beaten so many great guys, Justin Gaethje. He's beaten Dan Hooker. He's beaten Max Holloway. He's beaten so many great fighters now that there's a reason that he's back there. So Conor needs to go out and just win. It cannot be, I need to do better than I did before. Dustin That's where the pressure is, right? Because as you said, I went into a fight as the guy that won the first one and had to do it again. I also went into the fight as the guy that lost the first one and was trying to win the second one. And you'll never get an opponent that's more motivated because they feel, especially in that sense, where Dustin got knocked out so fast that if that didn't happen, over 25 minutes or 15 minutes, he would have still beat Conor. And I don't think you can really take from that fight that Conor is just a much better mixed martial artist than Dustin. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't see enough of the fight to know whether or not one guy was much better than the other. Conor was a better striker, and he obviously has fantastic power on that night to find that shot. But if this thing goes long, then we will know who's the better kicker, who's the better puncher, who's the better wrestler, who's the better grappler. That's when you figure out who's the better mixed martial artist. Now, if McGregor goes out there and knocks him out again, obviously he's better because then you can't stop the one thing or the one area where you think he can beat you.
What did you think of my big sit down interview with him? Did you enjoy it?
I thought it looked good. You know, I didn't get too deep into it yet. You know, I'm
that's weird.
So wait, I'm preparing. So I have to listen. As a sports listen.
Yeah.
Listen. So as a sports commentator, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a broadcaster, you have to prepare in segments, right? I had to prepare for last Saturday to show respect to,
of course,
ABC, Max Holloway, and Calvin Kattar. Now I have to prepare for Wednesday to get to Michael Chiesa and give Neil Magny the respect that they so rightfully deserve. And then after that, I can take in all things Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, and everybody else, because then I'm getting ready for Sunday morning to try and prepare and give those guys the credit and the preparation that they deserve. So I have to kind of do it in sections because this week has just been so maddening. Bro, we had 10 fights on Saturday. We have 14 fights on Wednesday. And then I haven't even figured out how many fights are on the McGregor card yet.
I wasn't talking about like from a job standpoint.
But it's everything at this point. At this point, Ariel, everything kind of has to be from a job standpoint because there's just so many. I could technically, if there are 12 fights on the pay-per-view, in 1 week, I will have prepared for 36 different fights, 2 fighters per fight. That'll be 72 fighters, you know, like in 1 week. So it's kind of difficult. Well, I will take it all in, bro, and I cannot wait to watch. I've seen the clips. You guys look fantastic. It does not look like you were in your office here at home.
No, I'll tell you. You want to know a bit of a backstory? So
tell me.
I leave my house. You know, a lot of people are joking these days. I don't leave my house. Of course, I mean, guys, don't fall for the gimmick. All right, we're working here, okay? As my friend Booker T likes to say. So I had to go to Astoria, Queens, and I was told 2 to 5 a.m. is the window. 2 to 5 a.m. is the window. Now, 2 to 5 a.m. for you in the UAE is 9 to you're 9 11
to 2.
Yes. So there I am, 2 to 5. I mean, I go to bed 10:30 p.m., 11 if I'm feeling frisky, I'm not so put the kids to bed and I'm like, what am I going to do till 2? And this could happen at 4:30, right? Like they tell me 2 to 5. So I get dressed. I got my nice suit on, everything. I go to Astoria in the middle of the night. I leave my house at 12. And then I get the word 2:45 is when we're shooting for. So, all right, 2:45, I can live with that. And usually, you do a big interview. You want to be all there. Like you're not doing interviews at 2:45 in the morning, typically, right? So I'm in this great place, this cool look, everything. And he showed up at 3:15. So all things considered, not bad. He had some other stuff to do. They gave me a heads up. It wasn't like I was just sitting there the whole time, but it was, it was great. Obviously we didn't get to do it face to face this time. I appreciate him. He made the offer for me to come fly out to Abu Dhabi. He felt very bad that I wasn't there. That was the thing. It was weird. Like he felt very bad that, I was missing my first McGregor fight since the Brimage fight. But of course,
you guys have kind of got that Cosell and Ali thing going. Where like you guys are kind of like a little team there. I mean, it seems like you guys are. As you elevate him, he elevates you. I
thought I was the Cosell to your Ali.
Part of the reason you got to a milli, a milli is those relationships.
Like how I dug
I love that one. That's the move. That's the move I enjoyed the most because I don't know what that is.
But anyway, now as far as the interview is concerned, a bit of a preview. I thought that I was going to talk to an irritated Conor McGregor, to an upset Conor McGregor. He fought 40 seconds last year, had big plans, of course, the pandemic. But as we've discussed, he was frustrated. He wanted to come back in November. He wanted to come back in December. The DMs with Dana White, like there was a lot that happened. DC, I got the complete opposite. I got a guy who, number one, didn't want to bring up the past, didn't want to reignite everything. Number two, was as calm and relaxed as can be. You know, usually Conor, you interview him and he's like, you know, he's got the perfect posture and he's like tight and he's just like intense. He was like chilling like this. I've never seen him sit like that. And I know some people might be like, you're looking into it, but no, I think these things matter. His son was running around. He just seemed to be in a really relaxed and happy spot. Oh, by the way, he's cutting to 155 for the first time since the Khabib fight in October of 2018. I was just really impressed with his state, how calm, cool, and collected he was. And I have to say, like, look, who knows what that translates into? But if you're a Conor fan and you watch that and you're wondering, because the narrative last year going to Cerrone fight was, can he come back? The fans have turned on him. He had a horrible 2019. This time it just feels like, all right, this is really going to be the beginning of what I think will be a year where he fights 3 times. And if that Conor that I was talking to is any indication of the Conor that we're going to get on Saturday, I feel like he's primed for a really, really impressive performance.
You know, like I said, I saw the clips. He did seem very relaxed. He seems fit. He looks like he's in very good shape, right? Like real slim. I've heard him talk about his nutrition,
Tristan
and how
Kennedy, who's a young man who's doing great work.
Tristan Kennedy, how much he's gotten him locked in terms of his nutrition and everything. So it seems like everything's in order. Now, a lot of the issues with 2019 that Conor had were outside of the octagon, right? Like the reason everything can feel better now, because last year was relatively quiet. You didn't hear as much of the stuff. So life starts to get back in order, and then you can go back to doing what you need to do. So, yeah, man, it's a big moment for the kid. You know, the kid has a chance to really look. If Khabib fights, great. But if Khabib walks away, that is big. That is not bigger for anyone more than Conor McGregor. Let's be truthful. I know Conor wants to fight Khabib. He wants to fight him again. And like I've said, I've gone on record. He went to the 4th round. Other guys went to the 3rd, then the 2nd. The fight seemed to be getting worse. Like Khabib was actually starting to beat people even worse than before. And there were moments where McGregor had some success. But if there is no Khabib Nurmagomedov, Conor McGregor matches up well with every single fighter in the lightweight division. And I mean, and when you're a star at that level, people may say he might have a small section of people going, well, he never beat Khabib. He's not the real champion. When you're Conor McGregor, if you get a hold of that belt, you're going to be the champion. You'll stay the man, and your profile will be as raised as it's ever been.
Well, that's a great segue, because right now our friend Chael is talking about how Kevin Lee fits into all of this, but I want to ask you how Khabib fits into all of this. You don't know that one?
What do you mean?
Oh, that's
what do you mean?
Oh, that's a classic Chael meme. Where does Kevin Lee fit into all of this? He's got 2. Where does Kevin Lee fit into all of this? And also, and that begs the question, just how good is Conor McGregor? You don't read the YouTube comments? Oh, they love that. No. They're loving this right now. I could see them going.
You read YouTube and these people are just demolishing you. You better stay out.
No, they love me. Are you kidding me? I'm the prodigal son of YouTube. I mean, I was born on YouTube. I mean, my whole career started. Anyway, Kate, you said, let's be truthful. Let's be truthful. DC, I'm looking at you eye to eye, all right? From one side of the Atlantic Ocean to the other, if that's even possible. Is that the Atlantic Ocean? Probably not. Khabib, I know you've seen him. I know you've talked. Give us the truth. Now, don't give us this, what we got on Saturday. I'm not even going there, okay? I'm not even talking about the decision part 2, which was worse than the first decision with LeBron and in Stanford at the Boys and Girls Club. I'm not even talking about what that was all about. What's the truth? Where's he at? How's he feeling? I know you've talked. Break it down for us. Let's go. None of this. I'm his friend. I didn't ask him.
Hey, this is crazy. You know what's crazy? I've spoken to Khabib every day. Every day when he was in quarantine, before he had the decision, which I thought was fantastic. Great television. I mean, it built to the moment that Khabib told everyone, maybe I will fight again. I don't know. It was fantastic. It was
what a payoff.
It was drama. It was drama at the highest level.
Yes, theater at its finest, right?
Yes, theater at its finest. Ariel, we spoke about eating dinner together. We spoke about playing video games. spoke about American football. We exchanged YouTube videos, but we never once talked about his fighting career. We just don't.
What a friend. What a horrible friend you are.
You know what else I did today? I
What?
presented him the UFC Honors Submission of the Year. That was it.
Well, like you actually gave him the award?
I went and gave him the award. He was doing some social media stuff. I came out of my fighter meetings and I gave him the award. And then I gave him a hug and we made plans to have dinner. But I didn't talk to him about his fight career because, as I said before, I support whatever that young man does. And if he fights, great. I would love to call another Khabib fight. But if he doesn't, I support that too. I'll see him when everybody else fights, when the camps start taking place at AKA again. We'll just all get back together and have fun as we used to. And that's really what matters, you know?
So when you're face-to-face with Khabib Nurmagomedov, and then you're about to go tape your show, highly successful, extremely popular program on the worldwide leader, you don't say, hey,
we don't need it. Hey, that's the thing. We don't need it. We can't start taking our friendships to try to elevate our status as a show. We have to have good information and people have to like you and I also as we present them that information. We can't rely on anyone else. This is our show. This is DC and Helwani. And guess what? We are the best thing going, baby. And if you don't like us for us, woo, it's on you. We're the limousine riding, jet flying duo of ESPN, the tag team broadcasting champions of the world. So yes, I do want we do need to break things, but ultimately we have to be able to stand on you and I and not take our friendships to.
Okay, so let me say this. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he hasn't announced his return. As I told you from the beginning, leave the guy alone. His reasons are valid. They're family reasons. I didn't like the way the whole thing went down on Saturday, but that being said, yeah, come on. I didn't like that. But hey, how about this? I'm not even surprised that the belt isn't on the line because I think a lot of people thought like, hey, he could come back in a year, but let's vacate the title. I'm not even surprised about that. I think they don't want to put the belt on the line on Saturday to make the next one for Conor, if he wins, of course, a title fight, and hope that it's Khabib fighting Conor McGregor, right? Like I feel like they're very clear about that. So I'm not even surprised that nothing happened, that the title wasn't even vacated. And by the way, this fight doesn't even need a belt, right? Like,
no, it doesn't need a title. It doesn't need a title. And honestly, if Khabib was to vacate and come back, he doesn't need a title. He can come back as the challenger and everything could just stay the same. Khabib, you're not the champ anymore? Okay, we'll still pay you pay-per-view. We'll still pay you your rate as the champ. It doesn't matter. You're still the guy. So we are dealing with two athletes now at 155 pounds that don't really need the belt. Conor doesn't need the belt. Khabib doesn't need the belt. They can compete as just athletes and fight. Georges St. Pierre didn't need the belt. It was great that he had it always, but he didn't need the belt anymore. People are going to watch Georges St. Pierre. These guys don't need that title, but you're right. Conor McGregor wins. If Conor McGregor wins, tough fight against Dustin Poirier.
For sure.
If he gets the job done, he looks impressive. You can go back to Khabib and say, hey, dude looks like he's gotten better. You know, what do you think? And if Khabib goes, sure, let's do it. Great. Now you got your big fight. Khabib says no. You say, hey, Khabib, if you do decide to come back, you'll get the first title shot. So if you want to vacate, then go ahead and vacate. But again, we're looking at a guy that fought in what? Did he fight in November or October?
End of October.
November, December. 2 months. He fought 2 months ago. Why would you be stripping some guy of a title that fought 2 months ago? I get it. He said he was retired. But if you're not racing to pull the belt off of him, it's not a big deal. We've seen fighters be champions for a year, 2 years without defending the belt. So just give it some time. Let him have some time to figure out what he wants to do, especially when he's making so much money doing other things. Guy has a mobile network now. I mean, he has a fitness workout app. He's got shoes. He's got watches. He's got businesses. He's a promoter now. He's so busy that I'm not sure he's even had a moment to sit back and think, do I want to put all of this on hold and go back into training camp?
This is not coming from a place of insider knowledge. This is his gut right now. I don't feel like that fight happens in 2021. I do feel like Khabib will fight one more time. I think he'll try to get the 30. He's still so young. He's taken so little damage that I think at some point he'll say, I'll come back. But I don't think that, I think if again, all due respect to Dustin Poirier, if Conor wins, I think his next fight will be for the belt. And then the question will be, Will it be against a Chandler Hooker winner? Will it be against Oliveira? Will it be against Diaz? I mean, Conor's pushing for that at 155. There's a lot of options, obviously. Or is the next fight the Pacquiao fight? And so let me ask you, he seems intent on making this happen. Do you have any interest in this? Like, if Conor looks amazing against Dustin, right, and he's in peak form, I don't want to see him leave again and go to boxing. Like, I know he had a dream, but like, we just went through that. Don't you want to see him fight 3 times in MMA?
I'd love to see him fight 3 times in mixed martial arts, but the reality is this young man somehow wills things into existence. He does things that we've never seen before. When Conor McGregor says, I want to fight Floyd Mayweather, we all laughed at him. Like, there's no way. There's no way you get to fight the greatest boxer of all time, and you're essentially an amateur. You're 0-0. What happened? Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather for 9 rounds. So if he's telling you that he wants to fight Manny Pacquiao, I wouldn't bet against it, because he is such a star that any boxer, knowing that there's no bigger draw in boxing than Conor outside of Canelo. Canelo can't fight Manny Pacquiao. He's too big, right? Manny fights Terrence Crawford for as great as T-Bud is, or he fights Errol Spence for as great as Errol Spence is. They still don't draw the interest that he would draw against Conor McGregor. So it's like, it's the biggest fight out there for Manny Pacquiao, and I would not be surprised if he's receptive to it if Conor decides he wants to fight boxing again.
From a technical standpoint, the DP who fought Conor back in 2014 compared to this one, obviously you will say that this one will beat that one, right? But for those that don't have the eye that you have, what's the difference in terms of the fighter?
So Dustin Poirier as a fighter is much different. I think one of the biggest factors going into this one is that he's not cutting to 145 anymore. Like, he was killing himself to get to 145. Now he almost looks like a welterweight. When he steps in there, you see how big he looks. Max Holloway is not a small guy. When he went in there with Dustin, you could see the difference in the frame, because Dustin's arms are big, his back is big. He's got unbelievably long arms. He's much more composed inside the octagon. When you fought Dustin Poirier back in the day, he was either going to knock you out, or he was going to put so much effort into knocking you out early that as the fight went on, he would not be able to sustain it. You saw that in the Korean Zombie fight, right? He hit the Zombie with everything that he had, and then by the 3rd, 4th round, you saw him start to kind of fade, and then Zombie kind of pulled away, maybe submitted him or something late in the fight.
Yep.
But now he's so much more composed. He's so much more calm and confident, and so much more experienced at the high level, that when things start to turn, he's got an ability to fight his way back in the fights. Before, we didn't see that with Dustin. When things would go sideways, he never really fought back into the fight. But when he fought Eddie Alvarez the second time, it was going bad for him. Once he got back up, he knocked him out. Justin Gaethje fight, that fight was it was not easy. He dealt with a lot of adversity. He fought his way into a finish. Max Holloway, when he won the interim title, it started to turn around the 3rd round. Max was starting to build. Max was starting to have a lot of success. Dustin fought his way back into the fight and won the later rounds. So I believe that he has just improved, not only physically, but mentally, and understands that even if things go bad, he can work his way back into the fight, because he uses the entire 25 minutes. The Dan Hooker fight.
Yeah.
At a point, it looked like Dan Hooker was on his way to a victory, but he fought his way back into that fight and got the job done, and looked to be even stronger as the fight ended.
I can't wait. I love all the storylines. I can't wait to see how Dustin looks. I can't wait to see how Conor looks. For us, I was just as excited for the ABC show. I think everyone could tell, and Holloway and all that. But we get a lot of love. We get a lot of attention, especially at ESPN when Conor fights. It feels like the Super Bowl, and everything feels elevated. And so that's really exciting as well. And, I'll just say this, and I'm sure the internet's going to get so mad at me saying this, but if you strip away everything, just talking about the fighter, I'm not talking about the layoffs, I'm not talking about the controversies, I'm not talking about the fame, just the fighter. Listen to me now. I think that Conor McGregor is one of the most underrated fighters in the history of the sport. He does not get the credit that he deserves for how good he is. As a fighter, not the hoopla. I'm just talking about his skills, his pure skills.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because of everything that he encompasses, right? Like they feel like saying he's underrated.
They'll call me crazy, but I'm talking pure skills.
Exactly. I'm saying, but like because of everything that comes with Conor McGregor, they'll think that you're crazy for calling him underrated. But I do believe to a degree, people don't understand how skilled this young man is, right? They talk about Jose Aldo, and they talk about Dustin Poirier, and they talk about all these fights from before, and they talk about how he beat them with his verbal, right? He broke them mentally before they fought, so they made mistakes. Kid sets traps, right? When you see him in the back throwing the exact punch that he hit Aldo with to end the fight, that takes a ton of skill. But for me, honestly, the adjustments made between the Diaz fight the first time to winning the other Diaz fight to the Khabib fight, those are the times that I feel like we truly saw Conor McGregor show who he is.
What's going on now?
Yeah, it looks like we're freezing. And I was trying to look at you. Your screen's frozen.
No, I'm good.
It looks like it's frozen on my screen. But I think in that fight with Khabib, honestly, even though he lost, that is where I thought he probably showed how elite he is of a mixed martial artist, because Khabib shot on him on a number of occasions, missed a couple knees, but the levels at which Khabib had to go to finish his takedowns, he hasn't really had to do with other people. Khabib went to a double leg shot, got defended, went off to a high crotch, tried to crack him down, kind of sprawled. Khabib started to get the corner. He went to 4 different finishes before he took him down. And even the takedown that ended the fight, he got to the single leg. He tried to move McGregor. McGregor defended. He had to go to the head on the chest, step across with the foot to knock him down to get the side of the octagon. Khabib was just changing levels and going from the one level to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, until eventually he was taking him down. You don't see that much in an Nurmagomedov fight. And I think watching those improvements he made in the wrestling showed me that for as good as his stand-up is and his confidence and his ability, dude's as elite as they come.
By the way, are they in the same hotel, Khabib and Conor? What are we doing about this?
They are.
What's going on? What are we going to do?
McGregor got here today, which is Monday.
Yeah.
Now he's obligated to do a 48-hour quarantine, right? I don't know what time he arrived here, but his quarantine may take him through Khabib going to the arena for Umar's fight. So the risk of them coming together isn't very it's
high.
Not very likely.
Yeah.
Once Khabib goes to Umar's fight at the arena, he will then come to the hotel and then leave.
Okay.
To go back to Vegas to help Islam and those guys prepare. So then the rest of the week, it's just McGregor here, not Khabib. So Conor got here so late that after his 48-hour quarantine, Khabib probably will be out of the hotel already.
Okay. Well, like I said, Wednesday, card headlined by Neil Magny versus Michael Chiesa. Saturday, UFC 257. The main card, Marina Rodriguez against Amanda Ribas, Matt Frivola against Ottoman Azaitar, Jessica Ai against Joanne Calderwood, and of course, the two big ones, Dan Hooker against the former Bellator lightweight champion Michael Chandler, making his long-awaited UFC debut, going up against one of the top guys at 155, and Dan Hangman Hooker. And then, of course, the main event, Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor 2. We have so much coverage coming your way over at ESPN. I mean, just take a look at this, DC, on Tuesday. And I want to remind everyone, there's still a couple slots left. Helwani Island 2, bit.ly, bit.ly, bit.ly/Helwani Island 2, all lowercase. It's going to be very late for you, so I'm not going to bother you with this one. But you know who'll be joining me on the virtual VVIP special edition of the Helwani Show? Our good friend.
Chael, because you just about started you and Chael show at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I know you miss him. Chael, is it Chael?
My guy.
Bam Bam Baklava.
Action
Bam,
Bronson.
bam, Baklava. Man, I knew it. I was like, oh, here it goes. The only time you smile that wide is when you something to do with Action Bronson.
That's
so,
my
yeah,
guy.
of course, it's
You see
Action
how good he
Bronson.
looked? Guy's lost like almost 200 pounds. He's like
really?
You see him? Yeah, he looks legit, like a heavyweight at this point. Anyway, he'll be joining me. So if you want to be a part of it, trivia as well, bit.ly/Helwani Island 2. Sign up. It's free. Wednesday, very exciting.
Oh, yeah. This is the one. This is the announcement. Can I do it?
Go ahead. Oh, God.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Wednesday. Hit the time. I'll say Wednesday. You say the time.
Yeah. 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern time.
9 to 11 p.m. Eastern time. Guess what it is? It is DC and Helwani. We go back to radio, baby.
Where it all started.
Radio. National radio for DC and Helwani. Let's do that one. Boom. And we talk about mixed martial arts. We talk about everything. DC and Helwani go back to radio. Remember the first time? I mean, it was a classic show. One of the greatest radio shows in ESPN history, ESPN radio history.
That's what we're told.
That was one of the greatest shows in ESPN radio history. We try to recreate that this Wednesday, so make sure you guys tune in. We can't wait. The call. Remember the last time, Ariel? I mean, all the red buttons. I mean, calls over calls. We couldn't even get to all of you. We'd like to have that problem again.
Yes. So that's what's fun about this. We'll be live on ESPN Radio, coast to coast. You can listen to it online wherever you may be overseas, but we'll be taking calls. So if you want to talk to us finally after a year of doing this show and have your say, we'll take your calls. We'll also talk a little, maybe we'll talk a little Bills, a little, Knicks, Rockets, a little Saints, big game coming up on Sunday.
We'd also like to talk, guys, all the questions you want to know about Dahlia. You want to know about Dahlia. You want to know more about those things. You want to know more about when Ariel got tricked by Ariel Helwani.
Yes.
When if you want to know all about all of those great moments on the show's history, we will be there on Wednesday taking those calls and doing whatever. That is a move right there. That is a move.
But there's more. Wednesday and Thursday, 2 Ariel and the Bad Guys on ESPN Plus. They're making me do this. I'm sorry. And by the way, I don't feel bad when I do this. You go on freaking ABC every week. You go on ESPN. You never mention me. So I don't feel bad about this anymore. I mean, you pretend like I totally don't exist. Weigh-in show this Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. UFC Live, which I think you'll be on this Friday at 5. You don't mention me there either. And of course, you can buy the pay-per-view on. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. On ESPN Plus pay-per-view. And there's more. Saturday, UFC Live again at 2 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Then there's a special Iron the Bad Guy at 5:30 Eastern. Then there's another Helwani show on ESPN Radio, DC, for 3 hours, 7 to 10, live on Saturday during the fights. So I urge everyone, turn down the commentary and listen to me. Just joking.
Oh, come on. Come on, man. I'm over there just serenading them, I'm Tony Romo in just about everything.
That's right.
I Tony Romo 2 fights on Saturday. I Tony Romo the Buckley fight. I Tony Romo the Li Jingliang fight too. So, hey, I'm out there Tony Romo and stuff.
You're killing it. I mean, I feel it. I feel the confidence. You're coming into your own. Some might say it's because of your great work on this program that has sort of translated into great performances on television. So versatile too. You're working with Dan Hardy. You're working with Paul Felder, with Anik Fitzgerald. I mean, it's just, you're like a Swiss Army knife. It's unbelievable.
I appreciate that, my brother.
And so I hope we've lifted your spirits today after your very sad night. I mean, I saw the look on your face. You were distraught. You were devastated. But here we are, the DC and Helwani family.
I'm going back to the room, and I'm going to just tuck myself under the cover. It ain't over. I can put on a smile for an hour.
So a few days left, UFC 257. Again, we'll talk to you many times throughout the week. But for now, we are out of time. And of course, if you want to sign up, please do bit.ly/Helwani Island 2. And thank you very much to DraftKings and to our entire crew. And DC, be safe out there, all right?
Oh, man, I got you.
Okay.
I keep my mask on. I'm not wrestling everywhere.
Good.
It's
none of that.
It's
Tell Max I say hi and congratulations as well. The best is still blessed.
I will definitely report that back to the Blessed era. The Blessed Express has once again left the station. Choo choo. Hop aboard. Choo choo. The Blessed Express has left the station again.
Back next week, same time and place. Until then, we say peace. We're out of here.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.